Good morning on day 58, I think. This is where I slept last night, and we'll spin around here, and you can see I had some company, and there's a fire going over there. We had a fire last night as well. It was pretty awesome. There's a raging river over here, which is going to be my first, I don't know, sort of river crossing. It's not that big, but we have had 2 people fall in already, so I'll have to do my best to not get wet this morning, or just take off my shoes and get wet and then get dry. Anyway, short day today. Only planning on getting to base camp in Whitney, which is only about 7-ish miles from here, a little more maybe. So taking our time this morning. All right, so I got to use my micro spikes for the first time this morning. I crossed that little creek on some icy logs, which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. I definitely was more at risk of, falling and getting really wet, potentially hurting myself. But I was really motivated to have dry feet. A lot of the other hikers just bit the bullet, walked across with their shoes off, dried off, started walking again. But got to try out my spikes. They work really well, at least on icy logs. We'll find out about snow maybe a little later. Let's see, we've done the first climb and descent today. Climb was less fun than the descent. Like I said, today's a short day, so a few more miles to try to get to the base of Whitney. And then the plan is to hike up early in the morning to do a sunrise summit of Mount Whitney. Pretty stoked.
There's just beautiful stuff everywhere.
Good morning, it's day 59, I think. This is Whitney Summit morning. We just crossed our first little sketchy river. It's approximately midnight, so I guess it's technically morning. And we're about to get started. I'm freaking on top of the world. Maybe not the world, but I'm on top of Mount Whitney. It's not quite sunrise. You can see kind of first light behind me. Came up right into this cloud. Silver and I are the first people up here today. Pirate and garbage disposal are coming right behind. They'll be super excited. But this is... I'm out of breath for multiple reasons.
For you, maybe.
You think I froze it? I did put it in my pocket halfway up. This is the early morning crew.
Hey.
Congrats to all of them. Wow.
I always rubbish the usability of this flip in reach, but right now having actual buttons to press is amazing, as opposed to like a touch screen. So they say don't be up here when dark clouds are...
Now that the sun is up, we can see a little better. It's still a little cloudy, but the views are amazing.
That's in the valley.
I mean, that's also so many miles that way. It might not come this way.
There's everybody hanging out, enjoying the views in the sun. Just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that means I was looking forward to getting down to the production meadow.
Alright, this is about the point, and you can see that other people kind of followed our track earlier. Yeah, the higher... I can't believe we did that. That was sketchy.
This is where, when we came up, Nono and I were the first people up for the day, and Nono was leading, and she actually had to cut in her own steps to get across, because the trail comes from down here and comes up, and yeah, it's pretty sketchy.
Alright, this is the sketchiest little piece we did on our ascent to Whitney today. And now we're coming back down it, and we're not sure which is the better way, but here Silver goes. He's got to decide now whether to go down there or to come up over here, which looks better until you see these rocks you got to scramble down.
And
So,
up is sketchy and down looks worse.
so let's see what he decides.
There's not much room to catch myself if I do go for a slide. I think I'm going to take the rocks.
Alright, well, come on. Very nice.
Concentration.
The question here is, can I do this without impaling myself? That's obviously my biggest concern.
After we've come down from the biggest mountain in the US, Nono has found the slightest slope on the entire place, and she wants to practice self-arresting. So go on. So my prediction here is a epic faceplant where she slides nowhere, and I laugh.
Alright, so butt first. I think I'm gonna try butt first. Butt first. Alright, so I'm sliding. Oh. Not sliding very far.
What did I say?
I got it. Alright, so I am almost back to Crabtree Meadows after a successful sunrise summit of Mount Whitney. And the whole experience was absolutely incredible. I can't actually encapsulate like the things, like just how pretty the whole thing was. Walking up in the dark, I had been nervous about that, but the stars and the moon like reflecting off of the snow and the lakes was like nothing I've ever seen. I'm so glad we decided to do it that way. And then we got up to the top, like sort of right as first light was happening. So there's just this amazing like orange blue glow in the sky, and oh my gosh. Yeah, and just finally standing on top of that point and knowing you're at the highest point in the whole like contiguous US, and you just like worked so hard all morning to get there. And there were some like icy bits, so I did use like my micro spikes and my ice axe to get all the way up, but it was just incredible. And then the descent down was equally beautiful because I could see all these snow-capped peaks that I couldn't really see on my way up. So yeah, incredible experience. Feeling like I felt like I was on top of the world, like almost literally. But like I said, we're almost back to Crabtree Meadows Ranger Station now, where it's about almost 10:30 in the morning, and got up at 11:30 last night to start that hike. So I'm ready for a snack and a nap, and then as long as I'm feeling good later in the afternoon, actually we'll plan on putting in a few more miles today to set myself up for the next adventure, which is to go over Forester Pass, which is the highest point on the PCT. Not as high as the mountain we did today, but still well over 13,000 feet and pretty high. So all kinds of highs today.
This is just a part of the trail. I'm just walking through this like meadowy tree thing, and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's more mountains over on this side. You just can't really see them through the trees, but incredible. One more evening panorama before I head back down into the valley.